File handling is an important part of any web application. We often need to open and process a file for different tasks. PHP has several functions for creating, reading, uploading, and editing files. So this is example to open, read, and close file. So to open a file, we can use file open function, and we need to specify the file name and mode. To read a file, we can use fread, and to close, we can use fclose. So for example, in this line, in these 3 lines, shows to open, to read, and to close a file. So to open a file, there are a number of modes that we can specify. So the mode is stated here, and here we just need to put the symbol R, W, R plus, and so on. So the symbol is referring to this description. So R, for example, is for to open a file for read only, W to open a file for write only, and we can use A, X, R plus, W plus, A plus, and X plus. Okay, to create and write a file, we can use function fget. So fget is to read a single line from a file, and then we need to use feof, end of file, to check if the end of files have been reached. And we also can use fgetc to read a single character from a file, and we can write to a file using function fwrite. Here example for file open, read, and close. So this is file.php, and in this example, this script actually going to read data from this file, data.txt. So data.txt already has content. So this is example of the content in data.txt. The first function, file open, is used to open a file with a specified mode. So in this example, the mode of file that going to be opened is R. R is to open a file for read only, and the file data is assigned to this variable data file. And to read the content in data file, we need to use function fread, and we need to specify the variable data file and the file size here. And then after read, then close. So what happened in line 8 here is whatever the data that's read by this function is printed or echo on the website. So you can see the output here. So this data is actually come from this file, data.txt. And now I made some changes in this code. So I still use file open, but I changed the file into new data.txt, and the different mode here, W. So this one actually to write to a new file. Okay, if the file doesn't exist. If the file already exists, it will overwrite the content of the file. So fopen, new data, and I will write the new content into the file. And the file data will be assigned to this variable data file. And here it will display the error message if this file cannot be created, or some error with the permission, for example. Okay, then the first tag that going to be written here is array, and then I use \n is to make a new line, and this one is the line or the function to write this text into this file. So the txt here, the first parameter is the file, and the second parameter is the text that going to be written into the file. Okay, then the second text is database, and then assigned to variable txt. So use the same function, the fwrite, and then the file parameter, and then the text parameter, and this one is to close the file. When I run this script, actually it won't show anything, but you can see the output in the file folder. So you can see the new data is created, and the content of this new data is the one from this script, array and database. Okay, in another example, if you don't want to use W, you can also use A. A is stand for appending. So you can append the new data with the existing data. So let's say I put the new content here. So I put func functions, and then this one I put data type, for example. So if I run this file, okay, we'll see the output. So the new data will have the new content, and this content is come from this new text here. Because you use mode A, so it will append to the next line of the file. If you use W, it will overwrite the file content. So it will delete everything and put the new data into this file. Okay, with PHP, it is easy to upload files to server. However, there are a number of settings that we need to do. The first one is we need to configure php.ini file. So you need to find php.ini file inside XAMPP folder, inside PHP folder, and then find this line, files underscore uploads, and set the value to on. The next step, you need to create a HTML form and set the methods for the form as post, and then encrypt type as multi-part form data, and then create an input element, and then the type of this input element is file. And lastly, you need to create a PHP script to handle the upload file. Okay, so now I will demonstrate how to create a PHP script to upload file to the server. Okay, here I already opened php.ini file. So in this file, you need to search for files underscore uploads line. Okay, go to this line and make sure to set this file underscore uploads as on. So once you set, save, and then restart the server. Okay, if there is no changes to the php.ini file, no need to restart the server. Okay, now the next step, you need to create a HTML form. So inside the form, set the action to upload.php. So you need to create a file called upload.php to handle the file upload later. And then the method set to post, and the encode type set into multi-part form data. Okay, and then add one input element. The type is file, and then put a name. So here I put upload file as a name, and then create a button here to submit. And the next step is to create the PHP file to handle the upload file. In this line, the first line, I create a variable target underscore dir. This is to indicate the directory or the folder for the file that has been uploaded to the server. So all files that are uploaded to the server will be saved in this folder. So of course I need to create this folder in the server, and then we can use this variable, file variable. So this is a global variable. So this file variable is two-dimensional associative arrays, and you can get the information of an uploaded file. For example, you can get the temporary name, get the name, get the size, get the type, and this one is actually refer to the name here. So this is very special global variable specifically for the file. Okay, so here I assign the temp name or temporary name to this variable temp name, and then the target file. So the target file use the same variable upload file, and here I will refer to the name. So the name of file which is uploading, and then I append the directory location photos here. So this is full path together with the directory and then the photos. Okay, then I'll use this function move underscore uploaded file, and this function you need to specify the temp file name and then the target file, and then if success, then I'll print this line and then display the submitted file as image source. So in here we submit only image file, and then if fail, we will display this error message. So this is very simple example. So actually you can make a complete example with, for example, you can check whether the type of the submitted file is image or not, and the size of the file, and using this variable. So this is only a simple example to show how to upload file using PHP. We see the output, the results here. Okay, this is actually come from this file upload.php. So we just choose a file from our local file from desktop, for example, and open and upload. So when I click upload, the process is happen in upload.php. Yeah. So you will get the temporary file name and then move the temporary file to the target file and display the file inside the current file. So in the server, the file is uploaded here. So inside photos folder, and then the file is here. Because I set the target directory photos, so the file will be saved in the photos folder. In another topic for PHP file manipulation is PHP includes files. So to include the file, we can use include or require statements. It will take all the text, code, markup that exists in the specified file and copies it into the file that use the include statement. And including file is very useful to include the same PHP, HTML or text on multiple pages on websites. And it saves a lot of words. This means that you can create a standard header, footer or menu file for all your web pages. Then when the header needs to be updated, you can only update the header include file. So here I already prepared a PHP include file examples. Assume that we have a standard header and footer, and the file for header and footer look like this. So this is header. In header.php, there is a one header text PHP tutorial, and then this is the menu. And I have footer here. So the footer is only copyright statement. So this is footer.php and header.php. So we can include file. So we can include the header and footer inside the main file. So to use or to include a header file, so you can use include statement and the file name header.php. Same with footer, include and footer.php. So you can, the output is here. So you can see this part is actually come from header.php and this part is come from footer.php. So if you have another page or another file, you just can include the file header.php and footer.php, and the content in the middle here you can change accordingly. So it will save time. Whenever you want to add new content in header, so you just add the header instead of add every files in the folder.